Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, a glimmer of hope for the SOGIE Equality Bill.
With the President supporting SOGIE Bill, sa tingin ko po, malaki po ang tsansa. Maisap, katuparan na po yung kanilang minimithing batas.
Hoping to put an end to any form of discrimination.
Hindi po ako magpapatinag kung sino man po kayo na naninira sa akin. Ang laban po na to, hindi ko lang po laban. Laban po to ng lahat ng inapuso.
A trans woman's viral mall ordeal opened the debates over equality.
Respeto lang po ang hinihiling po namin. Pagkakapantay-pantay.
With some raising concerns on safety and privacy. Gretchen Diez and LAGABLAB network spokesperson Naomi Fontanos join us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. The proposal to pass the Sexual Orientation, Gender Identity and Expression, or SOGIE Equality Bill, gaining momentum. Senators tackle the anti-discrimination bill for the LGBTQIA+ community, but some groups are raising concerns on some of the bill's provisions. And with President Rodrigo Duterte showing support for the proposed bill, will the members of the LGBTQIA+ community finally see the light of day on SOGIE? Let's go straight to the sources of the story. We have Gretchen Diez and LAGABLAB network spokesperson Naomi Fontanos. Gretchen and Naomi, good to have you. And nice to meet you both. Yeah. So I watched you yesterday doon sa hearing headed by Senator Risa Ontiveros. Ano yung takeaway niyo from the hearing yesterday? Kasi andun si Senator Risa, Senator Nancy Binay, and even Senator Bato de la Rosa.
Well, my takeaway on that is that if we have the united voice together, we can have a loud influence to the community that we can truly be heard as long as we stick together.
How about you, Naomi?
On my end, it seems to me that some senators don't want to do their jobs as lawmakers. For example, Senator Coco Pimentel was quite vocal, not really in saying in many words that he opposes the SOGIE Equality Bill, but yesterday, it was clear to us that it was his coming out to oppose the SOGIE Equality Bill. And we just want to remind Senator Coco that, you know, there was a great statesman like Ramon Magsaysay who once said, those who have less in life should have more in law. And members of the LGBT community in the Philippines very obviously have so much less in life because we've experienced discrimination and violence on the basis of our sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, and of course sex characteristics, or what we call SOGIE SC. And we deserve equality under the law. But yesterday, Senator Coco kept saying that, you know, there are already existing laws to protect the rights of LGBT community. And so we refuted that because if we will use that logic, Pinky, then why do we have to pass laws for women to protect women from discrimination and violence? And in the same way, why do all the
marginal... Why pass an anti-discrimination bill? Is that what you're saying? Because may anti-discrimination bill also pending, and there's the SOGIE bill. So that's the question. Why does the LGBTQIA+ community have to be special? It's a question that I actually asked Congresswoman Geraldine Roman, which she answered. I wanted to get your answer on that too.
Well, it's not about being special. It's about being equal. We're just fighting for equality. Many people think that our fight for equality is in addition to the development of our country. But no, it is the core of development. When you empower people like us, when you empower these talented members of the LGBTQIA+ community, it strengthens the fabric of democracy because it gives us an avenue to showcase our talent, to help build society. If you have created a safer space for everyone, if you let the community feel like they are free to pursue their dreams, to pursue their career, to pursue education, then that gives us a happier society. A happier society means a more productive society, which eventually would eradicate our basic problems like abuse on substance like drugs, hyper cigarette smoking, hypersexual activity, which will eventually reduce HIV cases in our country. So this is just a start. This is just a stepping stone for us to build better resolution towards bigger problems.
But when you talk about showcasing your talent, there's so many people. I don't even want to separate the LGBTQIA community. Everybody has talent that they need to showcase. If you say that this will help us, it's a platform to showcase our talent because there's safer space for us. You mean you can't showcase your talent without the SOGIE bill?
The problem is that without the SOGIE Equality Bill, we are being confined to certain industries. There are certain companies that we cannot enter because there's no strict laws prohibiting us from entering specific
Na
career.
lumabas kahapon in the hearing.
Yeah,
I remember
exactly.
nung tinanong pa, how gay are you? I
Yes, the
think
denial for job. Some are even disposed from their job simply because of the way that they express themselves. There's a specific case for that, which is still pending.
that was a learning lesson. I mean, 101 kung ano ang LGBTQIA. Because in
Yes.
fact, in yesterday's hearing, it started with that, which I also want to understand, which we will talk about later. So you talked about senators opposed to the bill. You have, sabi mo nga si Senator Coco, si Senator Lito Lapid also made a statement yesterday. He was
Yes.
interviewed. Let's listen to what Senator Lito Lapid said.
Mas maraming karapatan sa...
Wala pa, pinag-aaralan pa namin kasi parang may masasagasaka dyan. Kasi dati namang wala yan Diba? Nagkaroon lang ng controversy dahil nagkaroon ng skandalo dahil nagawa ng person niya.
Pero sa tingin nyo ngayon, nabibigyan naman sila ng tamang karapatan.
Kung anong karapatan ng isang lalaki at babae, karapatan din nila. Diba? Tomboy.
Hindi naman sila nadi-discriminate.
Hindi naman kasi. Mga bilyonaryo nga yun, parang kaya din nila magpagawa ng sarili nila kubeta di ba?
So hindi po kayo inclined na suportahan yung bill kasi kaya namang solusyonan kahit
ng mga local lang naman yun di ba?
So hindi po kailangan ng panukala, sir.
Hindi na siguro dahil kasi pwede naman sila pumapasok sa pambabae at mga panlalaki.
Pero kayo wala kayong nakikitang panganib doon. Walang danger na yung mga...
Kung tutuloy yung sinasabi nila yung mga kapatid na bakla, pupunta doon sa babae. May daming magaling na magbakala-baklaan di ba? Sabi nga kay Senate President, hindi ko detention yun, magaling na natin.
Okay, let's start with Naomi. Halos di natin naririnig ang interview kay Senator Lito Lapid. And finally, may sinabi siya about the SOGIE bill.
Yeah, I find it quite ironic because Lito Lapid comes from the showbiz industry, which is peopled by so many LGBTIQA people. So I don't know if it's pagkukulang ba ito ng mga LGBTIQ, mga Pilipinong nagtatrabaho sa showbiz at ganito yung ugali ni Senator Lito Lapid na pagdating sa usapin na poprotektahan ang mga Pilipinong LGBTIQ ay hindi niya alam kung ito ay tututulan niya, no? So, siguro panahon na para sa ating mga kapatid na LGBTIQ na nagtatrabaho sa loob ng showbiz industry na panagutin ang mga katulad ni Senator Lito Lapid. Kasama na dyan si Senator Tito Soto dahil halimbawa,
Paanong panagutin?
na kailangan ang mga magkaisa yung mga LGBTIQ Pilipino na nagtatrabaho sa showbiz at mag-demand na itrato sila equally sa lipunan dito sa ating bansa. At sinabi din ni Senator Tito Soto kahapon na marami sa mga LGBTIQ people ay bilyonaryo. Sino po ang bilyonaryong Pilipinong LGBTIQ dito sa Pilipinas? Siyempre, meron tayong mga LGBTIQ Pilipino na mayayaman. Pero hindi lahat. Mas maraming mga Pilipino ang mahihirap at nasa middle class na kailangan ng proteksyon na hindi nakukuha dahil meron kang angking yaman. And in fact, Pinky, kahit yung mga mayayaman na LGBTIQ na Pilipino at yung mga LGBTIQ people na in positions of privilege and power, nakakaranas pa rin sila ng diskriminasyon at karahasan. Halimbawa, si Representative Geraldine Roman ay very vocal sa pagsabi na kahit siya ay nakaupo na sa Kongreso, ay nababastos pa din siya at nakakaranas pa din siya ng diskriminasyon. Halimbawa, nung pumunta siya sa Department of Foreign Affairs para mag-renew ng passport, ay nagkaroon siya ng konting problema doon. Pero gusto din natin sabihin kay Senator Lito Lapid, tapos na po ang panahon ng pabanjing-banjing dyan sa Senado. Bago po kayo mag-comment tungkol sa SOGIE Equality Bill, pakibasa po yung linalaman nito dahil hindi na po tayo papayag na pinaglalaroan tayo ng mga senador na katulad ni Lito Lapid na nasa isang posisyon ng kapangyarihan pero ayaw intindihin kung ano yung linalaman nung panukalang
Why do you
batas.
say ayaw niyang intindihin ang nilalaman at sinasabi mong, may ginamit ka na word na niloloko?
Oh, parang pinaglalaroan lang.
Pinaglalaroan
nila, no?
pala, oo.
Kasi, actually, This week, no, ilang beses kami bumalik sa Senado at nakita namin, halimbawa, nung time na nagbigay ng privilege speech si Senator Risa Ontiveros, ay mukhang hindi nakikinig si Senator Lito Lapid dun sa mga sinasabi doon. At imbes na gawin niya yung trabaho niya bilang isang senador na magbasa, aralin ang panukalang batas, aralin ang issue ng isang sektor ng lipunan katulad ng LGBTIQ+, ay dinadaan niya sa pamanjing-banjing, ano? At saka,
Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna move forward though. Yung senador importante, syempre, at mga congressman at congresswoman dahil sila magpapasa ng batas na to. Meron din kasing ibang sektor who are opposed to this. For example, there's an FB post of the Christian group Couples for Christ Foundation for Family and Life. This has to do with yung karanasan ni Gretchen. Now, we will go to, again, later kasi meron daw isa pang storya umano dito. Sabi mo kasi, you want to be able to have that freedom to enter a woman's restroom. And the Christian group Couples for Christ Foundation for Family and Life says, what about the rights of women and girls who are not safe in such a situation? There have been a number of instances in other countries where such men have sexually assaulted women, including young girls, in such places, in comfort rooms. How do you respond to that? Nangyayari daw kasi ito.
You know what, Pinky? I am an advocate of education and awareness. And it is important that before we even print out these statements, that we check our facts carefully, especially for reputable organizations such as a religious group. Because whatever they say might be 100% true to some other people. But if you check the facts, really, these instances are just black propaganda movement in other countries when other organizations are pushing for equality when it comes to one spectrum of it is the access to establishments or even washrooms. But these cases, especially one case, it happened in a comfort room inside a house. So that means that most people who abuse sexually these kids or these women inside a comfort room happens inside the house.
Okay.
It's not really on large establishments.
But let's put it this way. Let's hypothetically put this forward. Merong lalaki na gusto ngang siguro manilip, want to do something out of the
Then
ordinary.
that person should be prosecuted using existing laws because we already have existing laws to fight against sexual harassment, sexual violence in public spaces. So it should not be used as a strawman argument to oppose the passage of the SOGIE Equality Bill. We already
Hindi siya dapat hadlang?
Hindi siya
Yes,
dapat
there are
hadlang.
two points for me
Kasi
with-
prejudice yun Pinky. In the end, it's prejudice. For example, dun sa statement ng Couples for Christ, cases outside the Philippines. Ibig sabihin, walang kaso sa Pilipinas. Dahil hindi naman talaga violente ang mga trans women when they
that
enter
doesn't mean,
women's
sorry,
facilities.
Naomi,
that it could not happen.
Yeah,
Of course, we're not saying that. But are we getting ahead of ourselves?
Aren't we supposed to?
No,
Also, we
no, we
need to be
shouldn't.
proactive as well.
Well,
hindi
I
ba?
think it is important that we check and we think ahead. What could happen? Because we're
could
after
happen, diba?
equality. We're not just protecting the rights of the LGBTQ+ community, but as much as possible, we just want to be equal, especially when it comes to protection. So if you look at it this way, first of all, that's a criminal offense. Does the SOGIE Equality Bill advocate that if a transgender or if someone accesses the washroom, does that
kasalanan ba yun?
exempt a person from having criminal charges? Pag pumasok ka sa washroom at nanunog ka doon, that's still arson, regardless what your gender is. Pumasok ka sa washroom, nag-sexually assault ka ng someone, that's still sexual assault, regardless what your gender is.
Regardless if there's a SOGIE bill or
Or
not.
Ang
Okay,
panawagan
I
natin-
see
ang
your point
panawagan
there.
natin is evidence-based lawmaking. Yun ang gusto natin. Na dapat, kung magpapasa tayo ng batas, ito ay nakabatay sa research, nakabatay sa mga studies. Kaya nga, dinala natin yung mga kwento ng diskriminasyon sa Senado dahil pinapakita natin sa ating good senators that there are so many cases of LGBT discrimination in the Philippines and it's time to put a stop to it through the law. So for example, Pinky, when we've studied violence against women and children, we saw, and this is backed up by research conducted by the Philippine Commission on Women, NGOs working for women's rights. the majority of cases involving violence against women and children are perpetrated by people that victim survivors intimately know. It can be their family members, it can be their fathers, brothers, cousins, nephews, people in their immediate circle. Stranger to stranger violence is quite rare. And even if we say, granting that a trans woman will be violent towards another woman in a female toilet, then she must be punished under the existing laws against violence.
I get what you're saying that. What about before we go on a break? Yung sinasabi, gawin natin very practical. A 6-year-old, a 7-year-old girl, papasok ng restroom ng pambabae, may nakita. Gretchen, I'll just say, nakita si Gretchen. Nagtataka siya, Mommy, bakit is that a girl or a guy? Yung bang confusion for a young kid, how do you answer
And that's
that?
a very good point.
The answer to that is that person just needs to use the toilet. In peace.
That's the image
that person just needs to use the toilet, honey. So don't worry about it. That person just needs to use the toilet.
That is the immediate resolution because it's the immediate answer to a child. That is why we have to start early when it comes to education. Because with awareness and education comes understanding.
And where do you start that?
We can go with
Even in
public
school?
schools, right? We can teach the awareness when it comes to gender and equality. That we wouldn't confine ourselves with the narrow concept of male and female.
So if the mother, what do you expect the mother to say to the 6 or 8-year-old? Pumasok si Gretchen. Mama, why is she a guy? Anong gusto mong sagot?
She is a woman.
We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Gretchen Diez and LAGABLAB spokesperson Naomi Fontanos. So, one fear, possibly, of the SOGIE bill, according to Senate President Tito Soto, is that this might put an end to religious and academic freedom. Bakit? Simply put, baka posible with the SOGIE bill, bawal na ba ang cross-dressing sa eskwelahan? At number 2, yung sa religious freedom, if somebody espouses man and woman only, ay pwede siyang kasuhan ng isang miyembro ng LGBTQIA community na na-offend. Is this true?
No, it's not true. Yeah, actually, the Constitution protects the free exercise of religion in the Philippines. And so therefore, no law should be passed in conflict with that provision in the Constitution. So, in fact, the SOGIE Equality Bill affirms the right of people to exercise their religious beliefs freely in the Philippines. What we are saying is that when it comes to basic human rights, for example, karapatan sa edukasyon, at meron tayong paaralan, no, kahit naman ito ay religious or Catholic school, kailangan ang unang responsibilidad ng paaralan ay to provide quality, access to quality basic education. Yes, even to members of the LGBTIQ community. Because it's a right.
Hindi, dahil ang problema is pag nakita na miyembro ng LGBTQIA+, posibleng i-deny yung estudyante.
And that is happening based on cases that we presented in the Senate. Right? It is happening right now.
Pero hindi nyo naman ipagpipilit na pag, if it's an all-girls school, a transgender woman, girl pala, bata pa yun, ay kailangan pumasok.
Why not? I mean, because if...
ipipilit nyo rin yun.
No, hindi natin ipipilit, pero protektahan natin yung karapatan ng trans woman o trans girl na makapasok siya doon sa all-girls school.
So, totoo yun. That provision is possibly correct.
Yes.
Cross-dressing, ipinagbabawal ba yan sa mga eskwelahan sa ilalim ng batas na?
Sa mga... Ang problema kasi natin dun sa cross-dressing ay it's a misunderstanding of what it means to be trans. So, halimbawa, kaming dalawa ni Gretchen ay mga transgender women. Ang tingin sa amin ay cross-dressers, hindi kami nagko-cross-dress because our gender identity is female. And we are wearing the clothes
of women.
So, which are appropriate to our gender identity.
My definition of cross-dressing, and this is what I got from the late Rustom Padilla and now Bibi Gandang-Hari. She was kicked out of an establishment because she is cross-dressing. That was the argument. And she said, no, I'm not cross-dressing. I identify myself as a woman. Correct. Therefore, I am dressing up as a woman. Cross-dressing is if you identify yourself as a man, and yet you dress up like a woman. So it's cross-dressing because you're crossing the boundaries of dressing and expression. But of course, we don't want to confine it that way. As long as you adhere to your gender identity and you have your gender expression the way you really want it to be, then you are not crossing anything.
Okay.
Therefore,
And what
you are
is
not
wrong with
cross-dressing.
cross-dressing, Pinky? That is my question. What is wrong with cross-dressing? Your clothes will not determine your performance in school. Your clothes will not determine your performance as an employee. But why is it used as a reason to discriminate against those who are
Siguro,
perceived
why?
as
Because
members of
alam
the
naman
LGBT
natin, di ba,
community?
titingnan kayo ng kakaibas. Makita
Yeah.
kayong dalawa, titingnan kayo ng kakaiba. There will be, siguro, titingnan ko ulit si Gretchen at si Naomi, babae ba siya?
Yes.
Or, in fact, I wanted to ask you, ano ba ang mga offensive words para sa inyo? Ano ba ang mga salita na hindi dapat sinasabi na nakaka-offend sa LGBTQIA plus community? What are these words?
Marami. So, for
Like-
example, in fagot is a slur. Tranny is a slur.
Ganon.
Yeah. Siyempre, we don't want to tell it to the public because we don't want those words being used against us.
And
But
as simple as the word bakla. The bakla goes with history. Some people don't find it offensive na okay naman yun, bakla naman talaga kayong tinatawag. Yun po ang nakasanayan in mass media. Right? Pag bakla, parlorista, pag ganyan. But go into the deeper meaning of it. Bakla means duwag.
Ganun ba?
Yes. The reason is when we were colonized by the
Kaya
Spaniards.
pala sinasabing
The
ganon.
very first one to go to the mountains are the babaylans. These are the transgender women pre-colonial times. And then ang mga patriarka po, ang mga pare, dahil nagtakbuhan ng mga babaylan sa mga silahis sa kabundukan, sinasabi nila na ay mga bakla yung mga yan. Because the very first part of the country which was colonized is the Visaya region.
Oh, you know,
But
it's
language
strange.
is contextual,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
So, I mean, if it's said to you in
If
an
it's said
intentionally
direct-
offensive way, then you will be
Exactly.
offended.
Di ba? Pagka sinabi yung word na bakla na talagang nakakapanliit at
Oo.
binabastos ka,
Yeah.
doon siya
And
nagiging...
someone you don't even know calls you bakla. But if you're like sisters, and this is a joke inside. Like for example, just like physical characteristics, diba? If someone is kalbo and your friend told you, "Uy, kalbo ka na," it's not really that offensive. But if someone you don't even know calls you kalbo, it could be really offensive.
At walang masama sa pagiging bakla, Pinky, ha? So, halimbawa, kung
Totoo naman.
sinabihan ako ni Shira, yung janitress na, bakla ka. O, ano ngayon?
Oo, baka, totoo naman.
Ano masama sa pagiging bakla?
Oo naman.
Diba?
Okay. So, ang dami pa yung definition of terms. But nakipagpulong kayo kay Pangulo. Ano bang pinramis sa inyo ni Pangulo, Gretchen?
He promised that he will look into it, and I'm so glad that he's very positive about it. And I'm impressed that he's really aware about what happened to me, that he's actually following in social media. I wouldn't know that the most powerful man in the country would be very concerned with me as a small citizen of our country,
Well.
proving only the point that this is happening to me and this could happen to anyone.
Because it went viral. Are you enjoying your popularity right now, Gretchen?
It goes both ways. First of all, I didn't enjoy it because as much as I get phrases and support from other people, I also get bashing. I'm also subject to public ridicule, that many people are trying to destroy my personality, trying to destroy my character. I don't know what the intentions are, but it's clear that it's hitting me and my family. Second, yes, I am enjoying that we do have now the voice to give out our opinion, our ideas to society, that this time around we are being heard. And right now, it is just me speaking, but I'm speaking on behalf of millions of LGBTQ plus community members. That I am proud that this happened to me, and now I'm the face of the movement. Because out of the negative experiences that we have in life, we can draw out something beautiful. And I'd like to take that opportunity, that platform, for me to become positive, a positive influence for change, especially to our community.
I hope it's not an empty promise, Pinky.
well-
because the president is known for giving empty promises.
So may
we
may
appreciate
duda ka,
his support, but we are also hoping that the LGBT community will not be used to cover up the many human rights abuses that are happening under his administration.
Okay.
And the president is also known for flip-flapping. So maybe yesterday he said, "Oh, I support the LGBT community," but that if in December he says, "Oh, I changed my mind, I was
Let's
just
see.
joking."
Tingnan natin. Of course, we'll monitor naman the developments there. In fact, meron pang commission na may plano silang commission for the LGBTQIA plus community. We'll be taking another short break. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Magkakaroon ba ng convention? Is that true? Is that promised by the President?
The President confirmed that there should be a conference and actually is eyeing on the PICC as the venue.
When?
We don't know yet, but hopefully before December.
Okay, very
Sana tama na
quickly.
yung mga top-down approach na ganyan. Sana bottom-up. Sana nanggaling sa komunidad. At doon talaga nanggaling yung clamor na magkaroon ng ganyang national convention.
Okay, but meron kasing post si Gretchen recently na parang pinagbigyan mo yung janitress pero dahil humingi siya ng tawad, parang nag-iba ba siya ng storya? Ikinagagalit, are you angry about this? Hindi kita kinasuhan, pinatawad kita, kala ko nagsisi ka.
Well, first of all, I'd like to become a very good example. And we as transgender women should serve as a good example of how we should be forgiving of people. It's just painful that despite the forgiveness, kitang-kita naman po yung abuse na ginawa sa akin. I wasn't really planning on filing charges against her. But despite the kindness that you show to people, this is how they repay you. The mall already have provided their apology, acknowledging that I did not do anything wrong. And now there are statements aiming to twist the truth. And it's just so sad that it is happening right now, despite a presentation of evidences.
May daw kasi, meron daw nag-complain na may lalaki doon sa women's restroom, kaya she asked you to go to the men's restroom because the PWD restroom was unavailable, something like that. No, yun parang sinasabi ng janitress.
As much as I am passionate about our rights, I'm also after the women's rights. So if I know that someone complained about me, then I should step out because I respect women's privacy as well. Because I know that someone is offended by my presence alone. But if you're the one being complained, why would you take a video? Why would you take evidences of a crime that you committed
So
yourself?
what do you plan to do? Because you dropped charges because of this recent development, are you planning to do something else? Are you going to file, pwede ba yun? Can you file charges against the janitress?
Well, first of all, let's go with the immediate action that I'd like to see. They are claiming that there's a CCTV footage about me. Ilabas lang nila yung CCTV footage.
Tingnan
that I'm
natin
having.
yun. All right, I'm sorry, wala na po tayong oras. Naomi, thank you so much.
Thank you
And I'm
for
sure we'll have
having us.
another
Yes,
discussion
hopefully.
on this. And Gretchen, maraming salamat din sa'yo. Sorry, hindi na po natin napag-usapan yung meaning nung hindi yung meaning, kung ano yung mga categories and characteristics. However, we'd like to thank both our guests. Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.